Spotlight.
This is Akashvani. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on strengthening ties between India and UK. The participants are Professor Gulshan Sachdeva, International Affairs Expert, and Sonu Sood, Anchor.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi departed for his 4-day official visit to United Kingdom and Maldives this afternoon. In the first leg of his tour, he will reach London later tonight. During the visit, Prime Minister will hold discussions with his UK counterpart Keir Starmer and call on King Charles III. In his departure statement, Mr. Modi said that during his meeting with the UK Prime Minister, both sides will have the opportunity to further enhance the economic partnership aimed at fostering prosperity, growth and jobs creation in both countries. Briefing media ahead of Prime Minister's visit to UK and Maldives, Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri spoke about India and UK ties. Let's listen to what he said.
This visit, though a short one, will give both leaders the opportunity to review the entire gamut of the bilateral relationship and discuss ways to strengthen it further, and also discuss issues that are of regional and global relevance. The India-UK partnership was upgraded to a comprehensive strategic partnership in 2021, and since then has seen regular high-level political exchanges, and both sides remain committed to taking this partnership to even higher levels.
To discuss the significance of Prime Minister's visit to the UK for deepening bilateral relations between India and UK, we have with us Professor Gulshan Sachdeva. Professor Sachdeva, welcome to Akashvani.
Thank you for having me.
Can you give us a brief overview of the bilateral ties between India and UK, and how do you think Prime Minister's visit to UK will deepen these ties?
We all know that the India and the UK have long-standing historical ties. There is also legacy. There is a legacy of colonialism. There is a legacy of partition. There is a legacy of Cold War. So many of those legacies are negative, but at the same time, there is also positive legacy. The kind of linkages, our institutions, people-to-people linkages we have. And particularly in the last 20, 30 years, there's a strengthening of relationship between India and the UK. After the Cold War, I think in the 90s, relations started to warm up. And by 2004, we signed strategic partnership between India and the UK. And later on, this was elevated to enhanced partnership for the future in 2010. There is a strong institutional mechanism. We have now every 2 years, there's a summit meeting. We have the Foreign Office consultation and large number of dialogues we have between India and the UK. But particularly since Brexit, I think these relations have become much more strong. And both countries are trying to really upgrade this relationship. Because within Britain, they wanted to have the new kind of, linkages with the rest of the world, moving away from Europe after Brexit. And within that context, India became very, very important partner for UK. And since 2021, they also announced that their tilt towards the Indo-Pacific, that has also brought India and UK together. And in 2021, when Prime Minister Boris Johnson was, we had a virtual meeting between Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Johnson. And then the whole relationship was elevated to comprehensive strategic partnership. And then we also agreed on 2030 roadmap, which covers almost a large number of areas. And since then, many other things have happened. The main highlights, as we all know, is going to be the signing of a free trade agreement between India and Britain. And the negotiation has been there, started in 2022. But, we were negotiating actually with UK also since 2007 when they were part of the European Union. When they came out, we started separate negotiation with the EU and also with Britain. From 2022, the India-EU negotiations are still going on, but we have been able to finalize. The negotiations were finalized in May of this year. And during that time, Prime Minister called that this is going to be a landmark agreement. And similarly, British Prime Minister also mentioned that, since Brexit, I think this is going to be the biggest trade deal. And the mood has also changed, both the countries, towards trade policies. The UK has also signed many agreements during this period. They have signed with Australia. They have also signed with New Zealand. They have also joined this comprehensive and progressive agreement for the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which is CPTPP. And in fact, Britain was also the first country which signed, trade deal with the United States after they kind of, announced this reciprocal tariffs. And after many years of cautious approach, India has also become much more confident because our economy is growing fast. Our exports have gone up. So we have also signed agreements with Australia, with the UAE, with Mauritius, and two other negotiations are very at advanced stage, particularly with the European Union and also now with the United States. So within this context, I think this is very important. This is also going to be, again, very important deal with the developed world because most of our earlier agreements were actually with the developing countries, with ASEAN and of course we had with Japan, and also with Australia, but, really a large economy, the Western economy, where they have certain competitive advantage, particularly in the services and specific sectors. So that also shows that Indian policymakers, Indian industry, they have also become more confident with the growing economy. So we are in a position to sign trade agreements even with country like UK.
Akashvani correspondent covering Prime Minister's visit to UK, Rajesh Bali, spoke to India's High Commissioner to the UK, Vikram Doraiswamy. Let's listen to what he had to say.
So the free trade agreement, we are working to finalize it. The objective is to have the free trade agreement land. It is, of course, a detailed and ambitious document, which is probably our most ambitious free trade agreement to date. So there is effort that is required to make sure it's all accurate and covers everything that the two sides have actually agreed. It reflects the substance of what people are expecting. As and when it lands, it isn't appropriate for me to confirm when that will be. The free trade agreement would have, we believe, very important impact on both economies. It will help drive growth in both countries. It will give businesses a more predictable framework, not only carry out trade. It isn't just about tariff reductions, important as they are and widespread though they will be. It's also about improving the terms of trade. In other words, the processes by which trade is carried out. That would also include the sort of larger economic circumstances. It includes customs arrangements on rules of origin. It includes government procurement. And of course, there is a huge and very important set of areas covered under services, which is a significant segment of both the British and the Indian economy.
The Prime Minister also said that collaboration between both the nations spans a wide range of sectors, including trade, investment, technology, innovation, security, defense, among others. So you feel that, we can be partners who are actually strengthening each other. There's a mutually beneficial kind of an environment. India can also strengthen Britain and Britain can strengthen India.
Absolutely, because first thing is that even this particular agreement itself is very, very comprehensive. So here we are not just talking about, trade in goods. Here we are talking about, trade in goods, trade in services. Then there are also issues of intellectual property rights. We have also the new areas in which we are actually entering, particularly in the government procurement, in the labor sector, telecom sector, digital areas. All these areas also would be covered within this free trade agreement. But at the same time, this also will give a new momentum to the relationship. If you can see the whole roadmap 2030, so we cover large number of areas there. So here we are also working in the renewable sector. We are also, in fact, very big ambitions from both sides also is about defense and security sector. The Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, he was there last year and many initiatives were taken. Now we also have this technology security initiative which covers, areas like artificial intelligence, critical minerals, quantum, telecom, biotechnology, and large number of educational institutions, their linkages, people-to-people linkages. So, it's not just only about this agreement, which of course is very important for trade. And we also have, in fact, investment agreement, which perhaps still separate negotiations are going on. This will also give new momentum even to those negotiations in the investment sector. So, this is going to give us a new, I would say, roadmap, because through this, we can also start strengthen our defense partnership. India has a huge program of defense modernization. We also are becoming a very significant exporter of defense products. So Britain has certain advantage in some of the areas. So it's not just only buying certain products from one country to the other. We can, once there is a trust, once there are institutions are built, once there is more companies are connected with each other. In fact, if you look at the numbers of financial and technical collaborations of Indian companies, a very significant number of them would be actually with the British companies and other European companies. So those kind of linkages would also strengthen, I would say, our defense relationship. And so we can also become major defense producer. So this is going to give us, spin-off in many other areas as well.
And you feel that the Prime Minister's visit, it gives a lot of fillip to the diaspora, the massive diaspora, Indian diaspora, which stays there. And as you mentioned earlier, it improves the people-to-people ties and makes things, more pleasant and the environment more conducive for students and professionals, Indian students, professionals who are there.
Britain, more than 1.8 million Indians are there. the Indian diaspora is there. We have large number, I think the numbers are 170,000 students, those who are studying in different universities there. And we also have, 2 agreements in 21, 22, particularly on the migration and mobility agreements, and another agreement about young professionals. So those, to some extent, facilitated more mobility. But now with this, there is also possibility, because we are also going to have a double contribution convention agreement. It means short-term mobility from companies, people, those who are professional, those who go and work on a particular projects, particularly in the IT-related and IT-related services. Those who go on specific projects, work there only for a few months, and then they come back. So earlier they used to, contribute to the social security in UK, and also perhaps, they were doing also in India. Now, as we also have similar kind of agreement with some other European and other countries, so that agreement also would be now with the UK, at least for 3 years, and then of course the final agreement would be there. Through this, the mobility of those professionals will become easier. In fact, it will be less costly for the companies to sell. So it will really improve things in many, many areas. And as a result of this trade agreements, of course, as 99% of Indian products, roughly, in fact, almost all kind of products which they are going to the UK market, they'll be tariff free. So particularly sectors like textiles and gems and jewelry and marine products, engineering, organic chemicals, and many, many others, they are really going to be, beneficiary sectors. And similarly, obviously, any trade agreement, it's always give and take. So you also have to provide market to their products. And Britain, of course, is looking to expand market for Scotch whisky in India, where we have 150% tariff now. It will be reduced to 75% and it will go further to 40% in 10 years. But of course, since it's an advanced economy, so most of the Indian products will start entering immediately, but there is a phase-wise elimination of tariffs for many British products, but more than 60% perhaps will start entering immediately. For other products, the phases are there for the next many, many years. So there are certain, when we feel that later on it shouldn't happen, that, particularly the automobile sector, that, we are also reducing tariffs on that. But certain number are also limited. So there is also quota. It means a certain number of vehicles can only enter into the Indian market. And if that quota is crossed, then of course after that we will not allow. So there are all kind of, I think the calculations have been made basically to benefit industry from both the countries. But overall it shows that Indian economy is mature now. Indian industry is mature. They are able to compete. They are looking for markets, because there are many other countries which are able to sell their products in the British market because of certain other kind of agreements they have. And if we do not have those agreements, then obviously our industry is not able to compete, particularly if you look at our products like textiles. From many other countries, they are facing very, very serious competition now, particularly Asian countries. So this agreement will really help many of those industries in India.
Professor Sachdeva, thank you so much for throwing light on the significance of Prime Minister's visit to the UK for deepening bilateral relations between India and UK in diverse areas.
Thank you so much.
You were listening to a discussion on strengthening ties between India and UK. The participants were Professor Gulshan Sachdeva, International Affairs Expert, and Sonu Sood, Anchor. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of Akashvani. You can listen to it on our mobile app News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You may share your feedback about this program through email at airnsdtalks@gmail.com or WhatsApp on 928-909-4044.
Spotlight.